Hello?
There you go. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. We coincidentally actually just met last night at the Binance event
Yeah.
that was taking place. So that was good. I got a quick intro about you and a quick brief. But why don't we start off with a quick introduction for the audience about who we are? I'll go first and then maybe you can give your introduction.
Sure.
So my name is Nikita Sachdev. I'm from the States, from US, Texas, and I've been in Dubai since December. I lived in Singapore for 10 years, where I started my career with Huobi Exchange. I'm currently running Luna PR. We're one of the leading crypto-focused PR marketing agencies and a VC. So why don't we start with what you're doing?
Yeah. So I'm Sathvik Vishwanath, the CEO and co-founder at UnoCoin. So we are a Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trading platform for Indians, serving about 1.4 million customers. So this is already our 8th year of operation, and we still try to go strong.
8 years.
Yeah.
That's a really long
We are
time.
the first one to start this.
So you were the first exchange,
Yeah.
almost in the world, maybe even.
No, we had maybe a dozen of them at that time. So Coinbase had started about 8 months before us. Then we of course had Mt. Gox, and we had Bitstamp. And yeah, only those 3, 4 I remember, and many of them don't even exist, which used to be there at that time.
Considering now that there are thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
exchanges.
So now it's like every country need a few exchanges, and we have about 210 countries. So we definitely will have more and more coming over.
I think Sathvik, I think the first question that I think everybody here wants to know is, India has had a love-hate relationship with exchanges, with crypto. How are you guys battling that right now? How are you guys going through the regulations in India with the RBI banning crypto and then, unbanning crypto?
Yeah, so RBI actually did not ban crypto. Um, they had a view. I mean, the story with RBI and crypto started in 2013. Um, so we launched our platform UnoCoin in a conference called Global Bitcoin Conference in December 2013. So for that event, we also invited people from RBI, the SEBI, which is like the equivalent of SEC, and it could be like CBI, which is equivalent of FBI, and there are many crime branch officers. I mean, all kinds of regulators and enforcers. Most of them did turn up, including one of the representatives from RBI. So at that time, it was just Bitcoin. We did not even have much about Ether yet, right? So the particular conference included topics about how to mine it, then how to trade it, what does exchanges do, and even like what are the regulatory landscapes looking like at that point of time, which was absolutely unclear about. So just after that, after about 10 days, they came up with a notice saying that, okay, we identify something like Bitcoin exists in the world, and it has the risks associated, which is like financial risk, you could lose your money, security risks, which means you could just lose it, right? So, and then legal risks, because we don't know how it will be treated in the future. So since then, they gave out about 4 other warnings in 2015, 16, and 17. But in 2018, they came up with a stance that the banks, which are regulated by them, should not be supporting should not be providing services to the exchanges and its customers, whoever are doing the cryptocurrency trading operations. So yeah, this became effective in April 2018. So which people confused it to be that RBI banned it. It didn't ban it. It just said banks not to provide accounts for these uh, customers and exchanges. So that was a kind of very unproportional way that the RBI had taken the stance for. Right, so that had to be fought out at the Supreme Court, which took about 23 months. We at UnoCoin were at the forefront of that as a part of company and as a part of organization. And my co-founder, Mr. Harish, was an individual petitioner who stand up and said that his human rights is getting affected because Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are not illegal in India, but because of the new notice from Reserve Bank of India, his assets are now struck. He's not able to sell them. So then, yeah, that took about say 23 months, and we did win. And this, I think, is the second time where a particular private company, organization, association was able to win against Reserve Bank of India. So just after that, all of us got the access to bank accounts, and the trading started. So whatever RBI did, people confused it to be like banning. It's not. It was just putting a ring fence around banks which are regulated by them, and then when you get to Supreme Court, people think that it's an unbanning. It's just that the notice was removed.
So,
And
Sathvik, so you managed to get your bank account, but did users get a bank account?
Yeah, so for users it was comparatively more simpler because see, but how banks even identify, right, these kinds of transactions and such, and whenever there's an exchange, right, then an exchange trading platforms and such, they actually have huge amount of deposits from thousands and thousands of customers, which is not typically how a normal business would work. And this is what makes them panic, right? So why thousands or hundreds of thousands of people are putting 100 rupees, 1000 rupees, 5000 rupees, right? Instead, they will be less worried if one big vendor is putting 1 crore, or which is like 10 billion rupees, etc. Right? So the smaller deposits is what make them worried because they'll be more stressed about their own internal compliance, right? So yeah, I mean after that, customers got their bank accounts. They usually never lost it. In fact, it's just that the banks always used to send the notices saying that look, because you're a customer of Kotak Bank, you're a customer of ICICI Bank, you should not be doing cryptocurrency transactions, blah blah blah. And then, as soon as the Reserve Bank of India lost the case at Supreme Court, then they stopped doing it, and customers are fine to do whatever like transactions they were trying to do at the bank account. So then the exchanges as well got it, and then there are many exchanges which have actually come up in India, and it continued to go strong.
Can you guys hear Sathvik okay? Or should we tell him to put the mic closer? Maybe a little closer.
Yeah, I'll try that.
There you go. So Sathvik, what is it? Is it illegal? Is it legal? Is it illegal?
Okay, so my lawyers say that it is not illegal. So that's the term they prefer to use. Trying to say that, okay, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are not illegal, but unless we come up with some kind of proper framework and regulation, I think this stance legally stays as not illegal. And it is also like many other startups within India or across the world where the complete regulations are not written. See, unless startups are there, then they perform, then they identify the problems in it, then they know how to tackle it, then there is some kind of recommendation, some kind of policy, some kind of frameworks, some kind of draft bill, then goes to an approval at the upper house and lower house parliaments, and then there will be like some kind of feedback from users, then it will become like a proposed law, then it will eventually become a law after some period is over. So we are not even like 4 or 5 steps into the maybe 12, 15 steps.
What is that period of time? Like how long do you think it will take before crypto starts becoming legal in India?
So I think more and more things should go wrong in India so that the regulations will come. So right now they have less problems. See, when does someone want to regulate something when things are going wrong, right? So I mean, if everything is going right, people are doing transactions through bank accounts, everything is accountable for taxation, people are visiting the offices, they are taking their records, putting the tax on the people, and they're monitoring, and there is like FEMA notices which are sent out. So these are actually good things, right? So because it means that when they come and they say, okay, this is a problem, you pay so much of fine. That is also fine, right? So and if they say that, okay, you have done it right, good. It could be whatever, some kind of feedback from them. It really makes us more confident of whatever it is, because all of us continue to be in the ambiguous state for a lot of things because there is no particular way of how to do it. If that kind of framework was already there, then it's like obviously any other bank or any other prepaid instrument, prepaid wallet or anything like that. So
Well,
this
Sathvik,
actually like keeps it better.
I'll tell you my opinion. In the last 1 year, there have been 4 unicorns come out of India. So I think the regulation is going to kick off sooner rather than later, and that crypto will start becoming legal, and you know there'll be legislative around that very soon.
Yeah, I mean, however soon we can think of the steps, whatever I said is what it kind of need to be followed. Right, so eventually it will go like one step at a time. Instead of seeing it in about 3 years, we may be able to see it in 2 years or something like that. But I definitely don't think it is way too soon. It just happens. I mean, it's not like Singapore or any other like such simple country where you write the regulation and within 3 days it is effective. It's not like that. I mean, the communication to reach people, it takes months.
So Sathvik, what do you think we can do to speed up crypto mass adoption?
I think see, one of the good things we are already doing as a country, I mean, not us as UnoCoin, but at least our competitors, is to get the word out, right? So, and we are doing our part to do the education to people. We have a portal called UnoVersity, so where people can get educated themselves about blockchain, cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I mean, it's everything, different nomenclatures in Bitcoin and blockchain technology and such, and get a certificate there. Like it's everything is free of cost. So these kinds of things like go one step at a time. And one other thing where I see for mass adoption in a country like India is reaching our customers in regional languages, right? So India has officially about 15, 16 different languages, and not everyone can speak Hindi or English. So this is like one of the barriers, and then distance for people to get access to this is one of the barriers because there are so many remote villages. It's too tough for them to even like the information to reach as well. But now that we have smart mobile phones, which is like better, then there is internet penetration, and then people are actually getting familiar with small technological advancements. So at one point of time, even I was afraid of using online banking. Right, so my father said he will never need anything, any other access to his bank account except checkbook, and he could never use WhatsApp. So these kinds of things, like over a period of time, even though the age range at which they are at does not mean like they will be doing these things. So that is not mattering. Everyone is getting into everything, right? So it is becoming like the real need of the hour that they should be connected. Uh, and people got used to doing Zoom calls. I mean, my mother never had done a single online call before she understood that okay, Zoom call became mandatory because of the pandemic, and then now she takes some Veda class and such things in Zoom call. So it's just like they have to adapt no matter what. So I think this as well is kind of the same thing. It will take its time, but there is of course so much of acceleration happening through different ambassadors, like brand ambassadors, and different kinds of advertisements, then the media coverage and such things, and then educational portals. So all of this is adding up, and I believe if we see about number of people who trade in equity or mutual funds and such things, right? So it could be about 5 to 8% of India, and we probably have achieved about 1% of India when it comes to cryptocurrencies, which means there is at least a growth for another 5 to 6. And then I believe the people who never ever traded in equity and mutual funds are still a good customer and maybe a first time investor who directly invest into something like crypto, because these are the new millennials. Instead of them getting familiar with lot of other investment opportunities, the first time they get familiar itself is through how to invest into crypto and be a part of it. And see what is this crypto that's just getting on the table is simply fast and free transactions, right? So, and if we believe that something like this is valuable, so I mean the messengers are valuable as compared to post office, and similarly this particular technology is valuable as compared to all kind of other traditional financial transfers that happens. And it will take its time because internet was invented in 1990s, right? So, but messengers
I have a few more questions. We gotta wrap it up before I just got an alert from the organizer. But I have one more question, and apologies to cut you off. So yesterday at the conference, we saw CZ. Yeah. Who mentioned that surprisingly he doesn't own any NFTs, and he didn't really seem very interested in NFTs. Yeah. But from a marketing perspective, I deal with the marketing side of crypto. I've seen, speaking of mass adoption, the one thing that has really brought in new users are NFTs, because it kind of creates a bridge between the technical and the layman, because you're giving it some kind of usage. But not only that, it's the amount of celebrity endorsement that has come in. We just did Busta Rhymes NFT. All of a sudden, all these Busta Rhymes fans who know nothing about crypto are getting into crypto and learning about NFTs. What are your thoughts on the future of NFTs?
See, it's very similar to how at one point of time ICO bubble was there, and at one point of time DeFi bubble. And I believe that there is like maybe 5 or 10% of what NFTs are today are actually valuable, but only time will tell which actually become valuable over a period of time. And today it looks like everything is more or less similar, and everything depends upon its performance, its rarity, who is holding it, who has authenticated it, who has issued it. So there is like how for example, a particular project which went through an ICO has become today like a $10 billion market cap, and on the other side, 95% of them have died, right? So it could be something similar. But at the end, it also means like how many eventual end buyers are there, right? So that also will be kind of question. So today there are more holders than the actual real amount of buyers. I mean, how many people have bought something like a costly painting today? Not many. But how many people have got NFTs? Maybe like 100x of that. So which essentially means that the real market may not be that big, or it could be that the the particular paradigm shift occurs where people start looking this as an asset and hold it for long term. So, yeah.
So one more question, last one before I wrap up. So
Sure.
we've seen two incredible exchanges come out of India, WazirX and CoinDCX. One owned by Binance, the other one has gotten shares from Coinbase.
Yep.
What's next for you?
See, for us, I mean, we believe in comparatively organic growth than excessively being on the marketing side of things. But however, to be competitive, we also engage in some of the marketing activities and such. So we as well eventually will become a unicorn or a decacorn, I guess. It just takes its time. We don't believe in excessively ramping up our efforts and like ending at accidents, I believe. But however, there are people who have taken different risks, and as far as UnoCoin is concerned, this is already our 8th year of operation, and as compared to the competitors who are maybe 2 or 3 years old and such. So, but we believe that like the way the Coinbase has grown, it's through the credibility and trust. It could be among the users, among the vendors, among the market makers, among traders, exchanges, regulators, enforcers. So it's like a complete ecosystem. We don't want to be in such a way that, okay, we are looking good for 3 of them and not good for 4 of them. So we don't believe in that. So we want to grow with everyone else in the ecosystem and make this kind of cryptocurrency assets as a good investment alternative for people to have a diversified portfolio in their assets.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I totally agree with you. I think there's so many factors, but at the end of it, it depends on the credibility and trust that you bring to the people.
Yeah, and we are also the one who have been strongly fighting to make sure that crypto stays within India. So that as well adds up.
Yeah, I love what you're doing for the people in India. They need it. India needs it. But anyways, thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can find us walking around. I think I think we have time for a quick question.
Despite whatever gray areas are there in India about cryptos, I think India, I'm reading reports that India is still the biggest or largest market for crypto trading. But my question is that, eventually, like, if you want to buy crypto, you have to have, to pay either through INR, and then if you want to sell, then you want to get back your money into a bank account. So how easy, with all these issues, how easy it is that for the common man? And second question is that, I think sometime back there was some news that the RBI raided WazirX and a couple of other exchanges and stopped trading. So this thing really scares the common people. So do you think that, this thing will resolve soon, or because there's still a lot of fear among the people about the regulations?
So I think to answer your first question, right? So I mean, yeah, it's like mandatory right now for people within India, as far as the exchanges are concerned, to have the bank account in their own name and provide the PAN card and Aadhaar card address details and completely authenticate themselves to be able to trade. And this, as of now, I believe the industry is applying the maximum possible regulation, which we call as self-regulation ourselves. So when the real regulation comes, at the end of the day, when people are already paying in the bank account, why do you need X amount of KYC and such things? It may just get easier. So till then, we as an industry are afraid to be a little bit lenient on what we are already doing. And this, of course, limits the common man. Okay, but eventually it will come to the common man, I believe, and the regulations and these kinds of frameworks should definitely help. And when it comes to your second question of the Reserve Bank of India, some officials going, that is actually a good thing, right? So at least now we know that, okay, this is according to them not a good idea, and something else is a better idea. And when you talk about India, like Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies in India are kind of match made in heaven, right? So it's a good asset class. We have a good IT, people understand IT, then young population, which is like 25 years average age, and then they see gold as a good asset so far, which will kind of change. Biggest incoming remitters, and there is so much of e-commerce platforms. I mean, this all of that put together. I believe this is. I mean, it's built for a country like India, right? So. And that is one of the reasons why we continue to serve only India, even though when there was a regulation issues and like X amount of things we fought, but we never left the country, we never stopped fighting. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I think we're done for time, but you can find us walking around and ask us any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Nitika, and thank you, Mr. Sathvik. So now I would like to invite Ms.